Alright guys, I'm back with another video. So this one is going to be a pre-recorded one. I find this is kind of like a residual thoughts here that I've had left over from to this morning live stream, right? Now of course there's a sentiment of GameStop that you all have heard before. Physical is gone and da 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 and all that stuff. The same sentiment that was done 3 years ago. If you watch this live stream right here, and I'm sure many people invest in this company right now and still in it, still reminiscing on this particular video here, and the title, if you read there up there right there, it says 100% short interest on GameStop, right? Of course, back then it was a lot more than it is now. I'm not saying it's still the same. There's no way for me to verify that. I mean, I could speculate the fact that the on balance volume is so high at the moment in time. You know, that could be an indication that the short interest hasn't been closed yet, right? But the official number is still high, which is 22%. Now the Charles Schwab network or whatever, that segment that I show on my live stream, if you want to go check it, they said that the short interest went down. I think in reference from 100 to now 22. That's what they're saying, right? So perhaps that's what it was, that they are kind of referring to the short interest being lower than it used to, which is 3 years ago. Which kind of give you the indication that they did close, right? Or like the impression, at least, so to speak. But anyways, so let's go back to the kind of reminisce on the sentiment back then when Roaring Kitty was there and kind of look into it more. And I'm sure you're going to see the similarity here. So I am going to speed him up a little. If it's too fast, I'm going to come back and slower his speed. Okay, so let's listen in.
The Xbox, Phil Spencer, and they saying this last year. That should be meaningful to people. When you tell me no one's buying physical anymore, if Xbox is saying this, or the people in charge of Xbox are helping lead the charge of saying this, like, you should pay attention to that. And if you remember back in 2013 when they were rolling out the Xbox, there was some confusion over the console and it kind of messed up a bit. And then they wrote this blog. I forget the story itself, but they had to say like this. They had to walk it back. He told us how much he loved the flexibility and so forth. And with games delivered on disc, they had to start offering the disc version or start trumpeting that even more because people wanted that. I get it was 2013. It's changed during this console cycle. I get that. It's not lost on me. I just mean that Xbox kind of realized that, like, all right, people still want these discs, and I still think that's the case today, 2020 to a degree. Maybe not as much in 2013 because it has indeed changed quite a bit, but it is still relevant. And was there anything else I wanted to point out? I had a couple of web pages that I pulled up. I showed that. No, that's it. That's it for this. Oh, and then just the general physical versus digital case. Now, because it's July 2020, the consoles are coming out, you're going to see a lot of YouTube videos of people debating this. Should they go physical? Should they go digital? And there's a lot of good videos out here. And in particular, Fanta, I haven't seen all your stuff yet, but from what I've seen so far, you have a lot of good thoughts on this. I mean, I know you're not a security analyst. That's what I mean. A lot of people are voicing their opinions. You have a lot of spheres crossing paths here, like gamers and so forth. And I agree with a lot of stuff that Fanta is saying here, but he brings up a lot of good points. But then in also, these other ones, he's got a couple videos too. There's a whole number of videos out here, and everyone seems to be leaning a bit more toward physical when you watch these things. I just find that interesting. Like, why you hear digital, but then you see these videos, and people kind of talking more about the benefits of physical. But you can find it both ways. You can kind of find whatever you want to find in here. But in this video, I brought this one up because this gentleman, he's leaning more toward digital. But then you check out the comments, everyone starts talking about the disc version. I want the disc version. Just about every comment. Maybe not every single one, but like this I'm trying to piece together that story, right? So when I see stuff like this, I just find it interesting. All I'm trying to figure out as a value investor is does there remain some demand in 2024 for those discs, because that's important for GameStop's free cash flow generation. So look, check this stuff out for yourself. We're not going to watch these videos right now, but I just encourage you to check it out yourself if you're trying to build your own thesis around GameStop. And then, so why discs? Preference, console storage, trade value, download speed, sharing. I don't even need to. It's covered by the Restore GameStop presentation. What we're getting at here is that there's still consumer demand for GameStop's offerings. So let me pull this over here. Unless you scroll down just a couple, what is this, slide 80, I think? And just GameStop retains mind share with customers. Now, this is all quoted from one single survey. So this is the stuff I look at. Where are you getting this data from? Is this demand legitimate? And this is what I mean. I'm not basing everything on this one single data point. But this is the stuff I like to see as a value investor, because I just need to make sure that GameStop isn't going bankrupt, and that people are still buying discs, and that there are still demands for GameStop for just a couple of years. Because if that's the case, GameStop is likely undervalued. So the point I'm just showing this is that GameStop, there's still interest for some or many of its products. And then digital downloads have slowed share gains over time. You can see this chart too. Just check out this presentation, right? But I'm just trying to make my point there that it's not over yet. In 2020, it's not over yet. 2030, yeah, maybe it will be, but not yet. Anything else here? Oh yeah, so this is a list of I've kind of put together that list. It's you can see this here too. So what's interesting, that people are downloading games isn't lost on me, right? Because I have friends, I have family, and they think I'm crazy that I'm bullish on GameStop because many of them are downloading games, and so that's the thing. You got these anecdotes, you're talking to people and so forth, and maybe I feel like most people watching this are probably downloading games. I think GameStop might serve a different target customer where not everyone has an Amazon Prime account. I have that up.
Now this is a very important point here because, he's pointing out like, yes, people could buy stuff on Amazon or just on the Amazon on Amazon app, and be okay with that because they have Amazon Prime, right? Not everybody has an Amazon Prime account, or not everybody's going to shop at Amazon, right? Yes, there's hundreds of millions of people, but that doesn't mean that everyone shops at Amazon. So there's still a small niche of people who love the physical and all that stuff. So it's not lost on that particular group of people. As far as like the physical stuff too, it's like, if you get your games on the digital platform, that digital platform, let's say if it goes out of business, you're going to be that your games will be gone with the business as well. So that's the danger of owning it in a download format. So that is a real issue for people, right? It's one of those things where you couldn't help but think about it. And for gamers out there, they spend thousands and thousands of dollars, have their collection of games, at least to try to play it one day when they're getting older. So, but if you don't care about losing those or collections of games, then you're not really a real gamer, right? I'm talking about like the hardcore gamers over here. Excuse me, one second. So, what I'm trying to say is that the people that keep saying, "Oh, you could just get it on Amazon. I could just get it on Best Buy. I could get it on other companies." Okay, go ahead and shop there. But there are people who actually shop at GameStop, as evidenced by the amount of dollars that they have been kind of able to accumulate every single year, right? So last year they were able to do a $5.7 billion in sale, right? Now they don't get to keep that whole thing. I get that, but at the very least, that's the dollar amount that is being sold for, right? So technically, there are people who shop there. And then let's go on.
So like yeah, what 112 million members Amazon Prime as of December 2019. That's not like everyone just thinks, oh, you just buy it on Amazon, that's it. And but like not everyone has an Amazon Prime account. Some people do want to shop at brick and mortar. Maybe they want this. I'm going to just list stuff that's already here. They want the trade value. They want these things, and that's not to say that you have these things or you want these things and so forth, or that these are an issue for you. Perhaps they're not. I'm willing to bet that they're not, because if you're in a situation where you're watching this video, then it just depends. I don't have time to get into all that right now, but yeah, so that's why I think digital risks are overblown. I still think physical is here for at least a few more years. In particular, this console cycle, I still think it's going to be relevant. And I think that physical disc version is going to outsell the digital version. Let me know what you think for the new Xbox and PlayStation consoles. All right, so the next one is, let me move this back away. Negative sentiment is overdone. So this is some of the heaviest negative sentiment I've seen with the stock. Just about, there's just so many different ways people are negative about GameStop, about its stock, about its future business. And so I just jotted down a couple just for fun. These aren't all true exact quotes people have said to me, but haven't shopped there in years, or my friends haven't shopped there in years. You could download everything. Digital's the future. GameStop's the next blockbuster. That's a popular one. People they say, oh, GameStop's a possible investment. They go, oh, no, that's the next blockbuster. And then they just move on. They go, that's the end of the discussion. No one wants to look under the hood. The terminal value is zero. With
the same sentiment, right? The same thing that's being said, being spew out of, whether they're regular people or they're just troll hiring to kind of like be around people who are positive about GameStop. Now, back then, in his live stream, there weren't many of those. I bet it was like truly people were really feeling that. And that's why the violent kind of price action, kind of like went berserk when people starting to be like, oh, actually, yes, it's true that GameStop is actually doing pretty well, right? Or at least have a possibility of turning around the business in that sense, right? But again, I guess nobody really kind of talk about this yet, that Ryan Cohen was the actual catalyst for that, though. You know, now I don't know what. Hold on, if I could see. No, I wonder what date it was that he did this one, whether it was before Ryan Cohen got in or after Ryan Cohen got in. But what I'm trying to say is that if you look at the price action and when Ryan Cohen got in, bought in and wrote the letter to the board of director in November 2020, I think, or 2021. No, 2020. When he bought in, the price was around $5 or $4, that range, right? And it wasn't after that that the price went up after he bought it. So just so you know, it's worth noting that Ryan Cohen's play a very pivotal role in that price action movement as well. Now, of course, there's other stuff too. I did a video about like the perfect storm that was and still is, that is GameStop. Back then, the price was violent because number one, you have Michael Burry got in, Jamath Palahapitiya got in, and what's the other one? Elon Musk tweet about it, super stonk or something like that. So those type of thing, of course, again, create that price movement, that popularity. That's why you heard it on the news, and all that stuff. And ever since then, it's worth notice as well that none of that really matter about the fundamental of the company, right? Now you have Ryan Cohen, and then back then the sentiment was negative, but it was somewhat founded in kind of like in the fear of going digital, right? So in a sense, it's kind of understandable that it was like that, and also too, the old leadership was continuing to do going to continue sorry continuing to do the same thing over and over again, right? So you didn't have Ryan Cohen on the board yet. Now you are on the precipice of what it's like to have a highly profitable company moving forward, decades to come, right? So that is the future of GameStop here, because Ryan Cohen's ever since then has been cleaning the balance sheet up very well, and anybody who says otherwise, they're just trying to mislead you, right? Just like the segment that I did this morning, was saying how, yes, it seems like the balance sheet is not the problem, but something else, right? So this type of sentiment is going to continue to happen anytime you see the improvement of GameStop. You have that type of kind of like applying the brake, right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're doing great, but this, they have other challenge. It's like, and then you have the reporter coming in, and then what do? They're like jumping in. The last part cracks me up so much. They're like, oh yeah, we don't need to look at the fundamental. We all know that GameStop is doing terrible, so no, don't look into it. Just listen to us, right? So that type of thing. But let's continue on.
The poor managerial decisions, they like blame past managerial decisions as a reason not to invest in GameStop. Brick and mortar is dead. Anything brick and mortar is a bad investment. So Amazon, that's the end of the discussion. Just say Amazon. Anyone, if Amazon can compete with you, then you're dead. And then the pandemic. So there's some legitimacy to some of these things. I'm not saying that these things are all ridiculous. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's just so much of it that I think that's a part of the reason that it's weighing on GameStop stock price so much in July 2020, because it's really heavy. It's really heavy to get out from underneath that. It's a reason. Part of the reason you see such heavy short interest as well. But I think this has led to an opportunity. That's what I think. But yeah, so just so much negative commentary. I just think that the sentiment is so negative that it's overdone. That's what I'm trying to get at in this section. And also with these GameStop bears, you read some of these articles or some of the commentary on this, and I think people, because they themselves, this is what I was trying to get at too, they seem to falsely impute behaviors to others. Like they themselves might not be customers at GameStop, or if they have bought physical discs, they have the ability to resell it on eBay or something like that, or they just download everything. And I think what happens is the people who are opining on GameStop as an investment, they're the loudest, right? But they're just not customers, or their friends or family aren't customers too. And when that happens, they I don't know, maybe they're not digging deep enough, or maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I might be wrong about this too, but I think people are thinking that everyone else behaves the way that they behave. And I think that could be a mistake in this case, because from what it seems to me, that there are still people shopping there. There remains demand, and just because the people talking about it don't have it doesn't mean it's not there. I think this is my thesis. You're welcome to tear it to shreds. Feel free. I encourage you to. Please comment on this video or talk to me on the live stream about it, because as you can tell, I'm really curious about this. And also, many of the people.
See, that's the same thing that my sentiment as well. You know, of course, you could disagree with what I say, what I think, or whatever. You don't have to be like trolling and all that stuff coming to my live stream and call me names and all that stuff. And so again, you know, it's all being respectful out of people over here, right? Trying to kind of like sorting out where the truth lies here, right? And so we'll find out in a couple of days on the earnings, and of course everybody is exciting about it. And yeah, I might make another video. So this one is 15 minutes already, so I will end it here. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.